Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make marmalade out of just prepared Seville oranges and sugar. Okay, now for your jars. You can use any type of jar. I'm using old jam jars, old pickle jars, these are olive jars. You're going to need about 6 or 7 of this size for the quantity that we're going to make today. And you just need to thoroughly clean them and sterilise them, which I will show you how to do in a bit. I mean, if you prefer to buy jars, you can from certain shops, Lakeland and such like, but obviously this is a much cheaper way. And you know, you can save up your jars to be able to do this recipe. Okay, first you want to wash your jars. Soapy water. Okay, so put all your jars in there, soak for a little while, make sure they're clean. Especially any with labels that you're finding difficult to come off, because you can soak them in there and then hopefully they'll be a lot easier to come off. I'll show you a little trick in a bit if you're still having problems. Okay, so the jars have all been washed now and have been soaking for a while, and now I've got them draining here on the draining board. This one, like I said, with the label still on it, the soaking has loosened it up quite a lot. I mean, I'm lucky I've got some nails here at the moment, so I can take this off quite easily. So if you can do that, you know, with your own nails, or with like a blunt knife, a butter knife, or even a little scraper, then great. Okay, so I've managed to get the last of that off with the aid of a scourer. It wasn't too tricky, that particular label. But from past experience, you can get really ones that are really stuck on. And so I have invested in this stuff, sticky stuff remover, which basically you just put on with a bit of kitchen roll and it loosens up all the glue, and then it is the dream to get off, believe me. Okay, we're gonna add our tin of Seville oranges to a large pot. This needs to be about an 8-pint pot. Make sure it's nice and big for all your ingredients to be in. Okay, we want 3/4 of a pint of water in there as well. And you want 4 pounds of sugar, or 1.8 kilos of sugar. So in it goes. Yes, that's a lot of sugar. Okay, now we're going to bring this mixture to the boil, stirring continuously. There we go. Now you can make marmalade with oranges and it's very fiddly. You know, obviously there's a lot of work involved with that, peeling oranges and grating the peel, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. And why do that when you can do it this way? And it's just as good, believe me. Okay, we're going to let this come to the boil now and come back to it in a bit. Okay, we've reached boiling point now, and as you can see there's a bit of foam there on the top of the marmalade. You need to turn the heating down, you know what I mean. but you need to maintain a rolling boil. So not a full boil obviously, but just a rolling boil, and you can stop stirring continuously now and just stir occasionally. You can put a knob of butter in the marmalade at this point to disperse the foam. It's not too bad. I'm going to see what happens to it now when it goes to more of a roll. So this is what I mean by a rolling boil. It's still boiling there, but it's on quite a lowish heat. Okay, now that your marmalade is bubbling away there now on the rolling boil for 15 minutes, you need to do two things. You need to put a saucer or a plate in the freezer, because you're going to need to put the marmalade onto a cold surface to test the setting point when it's done. Also, you need to turn on the oven so you can sterilise your jars. In fact, it might be worth you turning on the oven slightly before this time, maybe while the mixtures come into the boil. At this point, I would also boil your lids of your jars. This is the easiest way of sterilising these. Yeah, keep these going on there while your jars are sterilising in the oven. It's been 15 minutes. So I'm going to remove this from the heat now and test to see if it's ready. As you can see, I've got no foam because I did put a little bit of butter in there. Okay. So I've got my little saucer out of the freezer. I'm going to take a spoonful or half a teaspoonful of the marmalade, put it on to the saucer or plate, and then we're going to pop this into the fridge for a couple of minutes to see if it sets. To test if it's ready now and reached the setting point, you need to draw a finger over the marmalade that's cooled in the fridge for a couple of minutes, and if it wrinkles, it's ready. So let's see. Yeah, that's wrinkling up fine. So that, my friends, is ready. Okay, as our marmalade was ready the first time we tried it, we've just been letting it cool here now for 2 to 3 minutes. If it wasn't ready, in that the marmalade didn't wrinkle on the saucer, just put it back on for a few minutes and test it again until it does reach its setting point. Okay, we're going to pour the marmalade now into these warm jars, which have been in the oven now for about 10 to 15 minutes, and so they are sterilised. It is a bit of a tricky task, so I find it's easier to pour the hot marmalade into a jug first before you pour them into the jars. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay. So if we pour this in here. Don't worry if it doesn't all fit in. You can pour the rest in a sec. And then you pour it into your jars. This has made £6 worth of marmalade. So like I said, it should fit into these 6 jars. Maybe sometimes it goes to 7. Depends on the size of the jars. Okay, just about right. Okay, now you need to screw your lids onto the jars. And it's ready. Okay, if you're going to give away your jars of marmalade as gifts, it's quite nice to fancy them up, like these two have already been done, with some lid toppers and some labels. So you can use anything really for the lid toppers. I've got these, which I bought off the internet, which are pre-cut, which you can use. But you can cut up any fabric you've got lying around that you don't want. Sheets, tea towels, duvet covers, even clothes. Just cut them out and they make just as nice a topping. But you can also use wrapping paper. If you've got any wrapping paper left over from birthdays or, you know, Christmas, anything like that, it's just as nice to use a wrapping paper. So I'll just show you how to do that. I have got a template, which I cut out. This is cardboard. I cut around a CD, if you actually have any of those, and it makes it a lot easier. So we put our template down, get a pen that works preferably, and just draw around your disc shape, and then we cut that out. Okay, so then you're left with a disc shape, which you're going to put on top of your jar. Now, I cut out a bit of film as well. You see this? Which is from this roll, which again I've got off the internet. You don't have to use that, obviously. I'm just doing it because I'm using this plain brown paper, and it just makes it look a little bit prettier when you put it on the jar. You put it on top like this. Very handy to have an elastic band at this stage, because trying to tie string around when it's like this is quite a nightmare. So you just put the elastic band on, fasten it in place. There you go. And then now you get your bit of string. Or ribbon, if you've got ribbon lying around from wrapping up presents, birthday presents, Christmas presents, then you can use that, because bright colours as well makes it very pretty. And then we're just going to tie this round here, which kind of strengthens it a bit as well, and it hides the elastic band. Okay. So there's your lid, which is now quite pretty. Now for the labels, again, I've got masses of these because I've been doing this for a long time. I've got pretty ones like this. I've got plain ones like that, which I put on. Most of mine, of course, are bought from the shop, from a cookery shop, or just a stationer's, or the Range, or somewhere like that. They do loads of labels. But you can also just use plain postage labels, or even cut out bits of paper and stick them on with Pritt Stick, just as effective. And then you can write on what you like. Obviously you can write Marmalade, and I would write the date as well, so we know how fresh it is. And if you're doing it for a birthday present, or Easter, or Christmas, or whatever occasion, you can write that on there as well if you like. And there we are. You've got your pretty looking jars. Okay, I hope you've all enjoyed your marmalade tutorial today. Just remember when you're doing the marmalade that it gets boiling hot, so you have to take extra care. You also need to be really careful when you're taking the sterilised jars out of the oven, because they're really, really hot too. And now it's just time to enjoy it. Spread it on a bit of toast, or crumpet, or hot cross bun, or whatever, and it'll be absolutely delicious. Okay, see you next time. Stay safe.